Welcome to Conspiracy Brothers. Minus one brother today, folks. It's just going to be Mackie boy here. And I'm going to be reading something that I thought would be interesting for all you conspiracy lovers out there. It is something by this fellow named Richard Day, Dr. Richard Day. And he's a dude from way back in the day who thought he was not being, recorded, and he said some shit to these folks. Anyway, people then later wrote down their memories of it. I guess he was hoping that no one would remember it and write it down. But people did, and I thought it would be interesting in the spirit of the holidays and the spirit of exposing conspiracies. Ow! So, here we go. Let's see here. Let me find what I'm doing. What's up, Wolfie? I know. He wants to be a part of the action. Come on. Come on. There you go. Alright. Let's see here. Oh, he dropped his phone. Gotta hold on to that, buddy. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, we got the fire going in the background. In the spirit of the holidays, happy holidays to all our friends and haters out there. Although we haven't seen any haters. Everyone loves us because we're lovable. Alright, so we have the revelations of Dr. Richard Day. First, we must read this opening part. Here we go. Check it out, ready? So back in 1969, Dr. Richard Day made some astonishing predictions about where the world would be today. On March 20th, 1969, 69 folks, the late Dr. Lawrence Dunnigan attended an astonishing lecture at a meeting at the Pittsburgh Pediatric Society. The lecturer was Dr. Richard Day, who at the time was professor of pediatrics at Mount Sinai Medical School in New York. New York. Day had previously served as medical director of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Ugh. There you go, Planned Parenthood. Dr. Dunnigan had been a student of Dr. Day at the University of Pittsburgh and was thus well acquainted with him. He later claimed that Dr. Day had asked the attendees not to take notes or record what he was about to tell them during the lecture. What? Something's fishy. Something with Dr. Dunnigan said he found unusual for a professor to ask of his audience. The reason, Dr. Day implied, was that there would be negative repercussions. Ooh, negative repercussions. Possibly personal danger against him if he became widely known that he talked about the information he was about to relay to the group. Whoa, it sounds like juicy stuff. Dr. Day apparently also told the group that what he was about to say would make it easier for them to adapt if they knew what to expect beforehand. Something of an ambiguous statement, which became clearer as Dr. Day spoke. Insider of the New World System? Maybe. I think so. Dr. Dunnigan got the impression that Dr. Day was talking as an insider, rather than as a person who was presenting a theory or speaking in terms of retrospect. Dr. Day's knowledge seemed concrete as he talked about the future and the strategies of people and organizations that had defined plan for the world, what we call a New World System. Oh, the New World Order. Who were in position to make sure the plan was executed according to a set time scale. Yep. Richard Day, he said, we plan to enter the 21st century with a running start. Everything is in place and nobody can stop us now. Whoa. Apparently, when he got home that night, Dr. Dunnigan wrote down much of what he had heard from Dr. Day during that lecture. Notes which he had kept to himself for 20 years. In 1988, Dr. Dunnigan recorded on tape his memories of that astonishing lecture back in 1969. These tapes had come to be known as the Dunnigan tapes. Dun dun dun. The Dunnigan tapes. Although Dr. Dunnigan's memory may have been dimmed by the intervening years, he was able to provide enough details of the lecture to enable any enlightened person to discern what may well be the real purposes behind the trends of our time. Yeah, the trends. Be suspect of these trends, folks. Get used to change. People will have to get used to the idea of change, so used to change that they'll be expecting change. Nothing will be permanent, Dr. Richard Day said in this 1969 lecture. So, he said, what should we go with? He went over a whole lot of stuff. So, what would be interesting to go with today? Let's see. We have compulsory sterilization. Oh, euthanization. Euthanasia. I can't say that word. Euthanasia and the demise pill. What? Families will diminish in importance. Fashion and sexuality. Fluoridation. GMOs. Homosexuality. Laboratory babies. Living space and Agenda 21. Media and sex. New difficult to diagnose and untreatable diseases. Population control. Sex education. What they're teaching. Oh my goodness. Suppressing cancer cures as a means of population control. These are the topics this fellow was talking about back in '69. So, we're going to pick one of these. What would be nice and juicy to go with today? I think media and sex. That's always interesting because that is a serious tool they're using over us. The media programs us every day. You know it's true. Girl, you know it's true. All right. Media and sex. The media has come to dominate our lives and the information we receive. From advertising, newspapers, television, and the internet, most of us tend to encounter some form of media in our average day. Sex in the media has always been something of a controversial subject. Books have been banned, newspapers, articles, and cinema censored, television programs complained about, and so on. How much we are exposed to sex in the media depends on where we live, how society perceives the portrayal of sex at any point in time in history, and government control. If someone wants to send out a message, they will use some form of media, and how effective the message will depend on how much control the media have over those broadcasters. This could be financial, where a person or organization is able to afford the fees charged by the blah 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 blah. We all know how strong the media is. Okay, where does he get to the goods? Come on now. What the fuck? Where is the shit? Trying to find the shit. Want to see the quotes. Trying to find the quotes. The fire is soothing me. I want to soothe the blues. Come on, baby. Where is this darn tootin' thing? Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. Celebrity influence. Oh, yeah. Whether entertainers, sports stars, film stars, or other influential figures in the limelight, celebrities of some description seem to be everywhere. At one time, the lives of celebrities were tightly controlled by agents and publicists, and the public rarely got to hear any wrongdoing. With the advent of mass communication, celebrities are able to communicate directly with the public, and the mass media can find and get a story about someone famous to millions of people in a few minutes. It was not so long ago that a celebrity was someone who did something meaningful that brought them to public attention. Nowadays, it seems that celebrity has become something of an occupation in itself. There are people on the celebrity circuit who seem to have done nothing at all of interest. The exposure of so-called celebrities has influenced the young in our society, and many see becoming a celebrity as a prime focus of their life without doing anything other than being in the right place, looking pretty, and possibly being outrageous in some way. Some with over-whitened teeth and face tan look more like a clown than a real person that people may think of as an idol, but such is the way that many celebrities are presented. How celebrities look and how they act is mimicked by the young, especially teenagers who are highly influenced through targeted advertising. This behavior is often referred to as celebrity addiction. The British Psychological Society published information on a study by Haley Gilman of the University of Kiel, the conclusion of which is that children are highly influenced by advertising featuring celebrities they like, even at a subconscious level. This may not be so concerning if the celebrities the children are interested in are positive role models. If sensational or illegal behavioral, such as alcohol abuse, drug abuse, infidelity, and other sexual encounters, and so on, is reported in the media, this influence on the young can lead to an antisocial or problem behavior. It can also lead to confusion. On one hand, the young are learning from parents and peers, and on the other, they are seeing people they consider to be successful and aspire to be like, behaving to the contrary. Population control. That's been a big part of the agenda, folks. But so anyway, Dr. Richard Day, back in 1969, he talks about, again, at this conference where he tells people to not record or write down anything. Dr. Day was involved with Planned Parenthood and was a supporter of the population control movement. This is, again, this other doctor writing down what he remembers from this lecture. Dr. Day was involved with Planned Parenthood and was a supporter of the population control movement of the time, which was the next subject Dr. Day talked about to the group. He said that the population was growing too fast, and the population would outgrow the food supply, space to live, and would produce too much waste for the planet to cope with. In the period of 1950 to 1969, the population grew from 2.6 billion to 3.6 billion, with the largest annual growth rate per year being between 1962 to 69. From 1970 to 2012, the population increased from 3.7 to 7 billion, almost doubling in a 32-year period, although the annual growth rate reduced. Projections estimate that the population in 2020 could be the region of 7.6 billion, and could be as much as 9.4 billion by 2050. Although the growth rates are expected to reduce significantly, These are figures from the United States Census Bureau, and a billion being 1,000 million. Thanks. Keeping in mind, people, that this world being overpopulated is all bollocks. You could fit everyone, apparently, in the state of Texas. Everyone in the whole world, you could fit them in the state of Texas, and they could have a plot of land. I know it sounds crazy, but look it up on the internet. Find out for yourself. That's what I did. That's what the internet's told me. So apparently Texas is that big. That is mind-blowing. But yet, they make everyone think that they have to live in cities because, you don't want to be in one of those flyover places where you have tons of space. No. You want to be in a tightly cramped city where everything is highly surveilled. You have your neighbors up your ass spying on you. Everyone's spying on each other. And you have no freedom at all. But that is where they tell you it's cool to live and it's better for the earth. And they want you to have smaller and smaller apartments and take away all of your land and then make the land around you off limits. That's for the government. We'll make this a national park so no one can go on it, and only government, only authority figures. Anyway, I digress. Going back to Dr. Richard Day's lecture, he said that part of the plan of the globalists is to limit the number of children a family can have to 2, with some families being limited to 1 and other exceptional people being allowed to have 3. Birth rates in the Western world have declined significantly over the past 50 years or so, with large families being a thing of the past. Part of this is the way the society is developed, where people are following careers and have aspirations other than producing offspring, and another part is education about and the availability of birth control. It has also become very expensive to provide for a large family. In 2012, the UK government proposed that restrictions on state benefits be imposed and that certain payments will only be made for the first 2 children. Ooh, those fuckers. Population control has been publicly advocated by some influential people, including John D. Rockefeller, also a member of the globalist elite and a major funder of Planned Parenthood, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush, former U.S. President George H.W. Bush, former Canadian Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, oceanographer Jacques Cousteau, oh damn, for real, and naturalist and broadcaster David Attenborough. David Attenborough. Good old boy. In 1969, Stanford University professor Paul R. Ehrlich wrote a book entitled The Population Bomb, in which he advocates action to limit a population explosion which would lead to social upheaval and widespread starvation in the 70s and 80s. In 1968, an essay entitled Tragedies of the Commons by Gerrit Hardin attributes the growth of the population to the welfare state. However, his essay has been widely criticized and does not address the fact that the majority of families with a large number of children do not exist in a welfare state system. Publications such as these were criticized at the time as fueling the fears of people through the 50s and 60s when the world's population hit 3 billion. And there was some panic about how the world would cope with such a large number of people. There are many countries in the world who have taken positive action to limit the number of children in a family. Perhaps the most well-known is China. Oh, China, where a limit of 1 child per family has been law since 1978. There are harsh punishments for unauthorized births. That sounds very free and loving, doesn't it? Although, as of 2012, there have been a movement in China to increase the number of authorized children to 2. Oh, you're authorized for 2. Fuck you. In India, the government has had a proactive family planning initiative in place since 1965, where awareness of contraception, come on. India has introduced initiatives for families to have a maximum of 2 children, including only those with 2 children or less are eligible for election local office. The government only offers certain facilities and benefits to those employees with 2 children or less. Yes, they don't want you to have children. Not only do they not want children, the children that are around, if they don't have their children, how are they not getting their adrenochrome? I don't think robots can be traumatized the same way that humans can. Maybe you can program, who knows? I bet you can. Actually, yeah, you just create neurons and the receptors and have the robot be traumatized and produce adrenalized blood. And voila. Bing, bang, boom. To the moon, Alice. All right. We'll be back with more Richard Day predictions from the Conspiracy Brothers. Catch you in a bit. From Conspiracy Brothers, we're out.